Beneath the waves of the Arabian Sea lies a city spoken of in ancient texts. A city said to have been built by divine hands and ruled by one of the most revered figures in history, Lord Krishna. For centuries, the city of Dwarka was thought to be a myth, its golden streets and magnificent temples existing only in the pages of the Mahabharata. But modern archaeological discoveries have revealed something astonishing. Submerged ruins off the coast of Gujarat point to an advanced civilization with massive stone structures, ancient harbors, and artifacts that challenge everything we thought we knew about early human history. Could these underwater remains be the legendary Dwarka? And if so, what secrets does this ancient city still hold? To start, we need to go back, way back, to a time when gods and mortals shared the same stories. Dwarka is closely tied to Lord Krishna, one of the most beloved figures in Hindu mythology. Krishna is often seen as a savior, a guide, and a protector of dharma or righteousness. He lived during the Dwapara Yuga, an era in Hindu cosmology that predates the age we're in now, the Kali Yuga. It's believed that this was around 5,000 years ago. Now, Krishna wasn't just a godly figure, he was also a clever strategist. When his birthplace, Mathura, came under constant attack from King Jarasandha of Magadha, Krishna decided his people, the Yadavas, needed a safe haven. So he looked west, toward the ocean. Krishna asked Samudra Dev, the god of the sea, for land. Legend says Samudra Dev granted him 12 yojanas of land, which is roughly 773 square kilometers. With this land secured, Krishna turned to Vishwakarma, the celestial architect. Vishwakarma is known in Hindu texts as the divine engineer who builds palaces, cities, and even weapons for the gods. Under Vishwakarma's direction, Dwarka was born. It wasn't just a city, it was a masterpiece. Picture palaces covered in gold, streets paved with sparkling stones, and gardens filled with plants from heaven itself. The city was connected to the mainland by bridges and surrounded by high walls that made it nearly impossible to invade. Krishna didn't just build a city, he built a sanctuary, a place where his people could live in peace and prosperity. Dwarka wasn't just beautiful, it was a hub of culture and learning. People from all over came to visit. Scholars, sages, and devotees were drawn to the city like moths to a flame. Krishna ruled with fairness and wisdom, and his people flourished under his leadership. But like all great stories, Dwarka's tale took a tragic turn. After the great Kurukshetra war, which is described in the epic Mahabharata, a curse fell upon Krishna's people. Queen Gandhari, grieving the loss of her sons in the war, cursed Krishna that his Yadava clan would destroy itself. Over time, infighting among the Yadavas grew worse. Then Krishna himself left this world, struck by an arrow when a hunter mistook him for a deer. Soon after, calamity struck Dwarka. Massive floods engulfed the city, swallowing it whole. The Mahabharata and other texts like the Vishnu Purana describe how the once glorious Dwarka sank beneath the waves, leaving behind only stories. For centuries, that's all Dwarka was, a story. It was mentioned in texts like the Mahabharata, but there's no proof it existed. People wondered, was this city real or just a beautiful legend? Fast forward to the 20th century, when technology began to change the way we look at history. Dr. S.R. Rao, a pioneering Indian archaeologist, took on the challenge of finding Dwarka. He began his search near the modern city of Dwarka in Gujarat on India's western coast. What Dr. Rao found changed everything. Using underwater exploration, his team discovered structures beneath the Arabian Sea that looked man-made. These included walls, foundations, and even what appeared to be piers and docks. Could these ruins belong to the Dwarka of legend? The discoveries didn't stop there. Researchers found stone anchors, which suggest the area was once a bustling port. Tools and pottery were uncovered, some dating back over 3,500 years. The layout of the ruins matched descriptions of Dwarka from ancient texts, with wide roads and areas that seemed to have been divided into different sectors, just like a well-planned city. Then came an even bigger find. In the Gulf of Kambat, sonar images revealed an enormous submerged city. This city, much larger than the ruins near modern Dwarka, could be over 9,000 years old. Some scientists believe it may date back to the end of the last ice age, a time when melting glaciers caused sea levels to rise dramatically. Could this older city be the true Dwarka, or was it a separate civilization entirely? What's fascinating is how these findings line up with both geology and mythology. Geology studies show that the area experienced rising sea levels thousands of years ago, which could explain how Dwarka was submerged. Meanwhile, ancient texts describe the city's destruction in vivid detail. But we're left with questions. If the city Dr. Rao and others found is Krishna's Dwarka, what more could it tell us about the past? How much of the legend is rooted in reality, and how much is poetic imagination? Let's begin with the ruins themselves. The underwater city off the coast of Gujarat, India, revealed an intricate network of structures. The remains included massive stone walls, paved streets, and what appeared to be residential and commercial zones. Imagine a city planned so meticulously that it could rival modern urban designs. These remnants align strikingly with ancient texts such as the Mahabharata and Vishnu Purana, which describe Dwarka as a golden city built with divine precision by Vishwakarma, the celestial architect. The stones recovered, some weighing several tons, fit together so tightly that they suggest advanced construction techniques, including dry stone masonry, where no mortar was used. But it wasn't just the buildings that impressed researchers. Among the discoveries were hundreds of anchors, crafted from materials like limestone. These anchors confirmed that Dwarka was a major maritime hub. The Sanskrit word Dwarka translates to gateway, hinting at its role as a port city that likely connected India to distant lands. Researchers theorize that Dwarka's harbor facilitated trade with regions like Arabia and even Africa, emphasizing its significance in ancient global commerce. And yet, how did this city meet its end? The Mahabharata narrates a dramatic conclusion to Dwarka's story. When Krishna left his earthly form, the city was swallowed by the ocean in a catastrophic event. For years, this was considered a myth, a poetic allegory for the cycle of creation and destruction. However, geological studies now offer plausible explanations. Some researchers point to rising sea levels at the end of the last ice age, a period known as the Younger Dryas, about 12,000 years ago. Others suggest tectonic activity, earthquakes, or even a massive tsunami may have caused Dwarka's submersion. The exact cause remains debatable, but the evidence of a submerged city is undeniable. During marine archaeological dives in the 1980s and 90s, Dr. Rao and his team identified submerged structures over 7,500 years old. This makes Dwarka potentially older than most known civilizations, challenging the conventional timeline of human history. But what about the stories of advanced technology? Ancient texts describe battles fought with weapons so powerful they sound like science fiction. The Mahabharata refers to celestial vehicles called Vimanas, and energy weapons capable of immense destruction. While these accounts are often dismissed as myth, they raise questions about the technological understanding of ancient civilizations. Could the descriptions be metaphors for advanced military capabilities or even natural phenomena? Some speculate that Dwarka's destruction might have been linked to such technology, but no definitive evidence has surfaced to support these claims. The archaeological finds also include artifacts that speak to Dwarka's cultural and spiritual richness. Pillars, inscriptions, and carvings depict scenes from Hindu mythology, providing a visual connection to the texts that have preserved Krishna's legacy for millennia. One of the most intriguing discoveries is the remains of an ancient temple near the modern Dwarkadish temple. This suggests that the tradition of worship in this sacred city has continued unbroken across centuries. However, not all scholars agree on the interpretation of the evidence. Some argue that the underwater structures could be natural formations shaped by currents over time. Others believe the findings may represent a different ancient civilization entirely, unrelated to Krishna's Dwarka. Still, the evidence continues to grow. Geological studies reveal fluctuations in sea levels that align with the timeline of Dwarka's submersion. Radiocarbon dating of artifacts found on the seabed suggests that they are thousands of years old. Combined with the oral traditions and ancient texts, the archaeological discoveries create a compelling case for Dwarka's historicity. But the story doesn't end there. Recent advancements in technology, like underwater drones and sediment DNA analysis, have allowed researchers to map the submerged ruins more precisely. The findings are still being studied, and with each new discovery, Dwarka's legacy becomes clearer. Was it a center of trade and culture? A spiritual hub? A symbol of humanity's ingenuity and resilience? Dwarka's tale is a vivid reminder of the thin line between myth and reality. Whether the city is entirely described in ancient texts or an amalgamation of history and storytelling, its impact is undeniable. It challenges us to reconsider what we know about ancient civilizations and their capabilities. If you enjoyed diving into the mysteries of Dwarka, make sure to like this video, subscribe for more stories of ancient wonders, and turn on notifications to never miss an update. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think Dwarka's secrets hold? Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.